itself where the offense is just winning all the time. And I don't know if it's exactly that Empire just broke how the offense works on this map, but Empire at Milan was running over everyone on the offensive side of this map, and it appears that that's leaked over into other teams, apparently, especially here at this LAN. A lot of these clubhouses, we've seen the split going in favor of the offense, not too many going in favor of the defense. So we'll see if that trend continues.
It's still a relatively new trend, though, so I think that tends to vary on team to team how that ends up going. So we'll wait until we get into the match to see if that ends up being the case. We've, of course, had some really crazy scorelines. I think the Liquid match being the most obvious. That Ashe is actually going to be the ban on the attacker side for NIP, as that'll be their first pick.
A little bit of a target ban against Psycho. Don't want to allow him to have his comfort pick, and they're kind of laughing about that right now that I got taken away. They're like, dude, we don't care about Ashe. We'll just play Twitch. It's fine. It's all good.
Yeah, okay. You get the R4C taken out of the G360 if you want the ACOG, but all right, I've got the F2, so it's no big deal. Plus, it's better utility anyway on Twitch, so there's no issues with that. Miro, again, aligning with general trends. Echo finally going to be banned out here. He's been quite annoying today in quite a few of our clubhouse matches, especially in that last series where he was left in for the majority of matches. This time, no Echo to be seen. Maestro will more than likely be his replacement during the course of the match. Here we go, round number 1. It's our final quarterfinal. NIP going up against Chaos. The winner has the honor of fighting Lestream in the semifinal.
Sure going to be an action-packed event. But again, if we're going to be following trends, which a lot of these maps routinely have today, just from inside just the round-to-round basis of every team, they've all more or less been on the same pattern. So we'll see if that continues as a possible 2-0 in sight, or are we going to go all the way finally today on Consulate?
Well, I'm thinking the 2-0 personally that we're going to end up getting here, but...
Okay, all right. Well, you know, I called the 2-0 as well in favor of NIP. I'm really feeling it. I think that their team play has gotten a lot better than you know, what they showed up with in recent history, especially from the 6 Invitational.
Yeah. The maps don't necessarily give a huge advantage to either team, though. I think there was seemingly, at least in my opinion, a pretty clear advantage to Rogue with the way that the maps went in the last series. We got a decent, you know, dichotomy between the two teams, but it did seem like Rogue got 2 very strong picks in there. Obviously, unfortunately, they weren't able to push it forward, but this one seems like very middle of the road. It didn't seem like either team got a massive advantage in this series, at least looking at their recent results and their general trends and how they picked in a lot of online stages leading up to this event.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I think it really is NIP's game to lose here. Chaos is going to have to try and find their footing, and yesterday they actually found their footing on defense, which is kind of strange for them. Usually they don't do too hot on defense. The side that they're best at is offense, and they just didn't have any of that yesterday. Very lackluster in that sense. So we'll see if they finally found their footing, but as of right now, they will be starting defense, so got to be feeling good about that.
Well, let's see. Once again, NIP, of course, are on the attack. Chaos are on the defense. We will be starting out in the basement, as you generally would expect. This or Cash Room are our 2 general starting sites, and then teams will proceed in a rotation through the upstairs sites. Don't expect a bar play, because it's not going to happen. Otherwise, something crazy would have transpired with both of these teams.
Ever since the update, I believe I've only seen 1 bar site hold.
I think we were casting it. I think it was an invite or something like that.
Yeah, when I said it would never happen, then it did. Yeah. I have a curse around me, man. I don't know what it is. If I say it,
now that we're talking about it, right? It's gonna happen. Someone's gonna. It's Chaos or Nip's gonna have something up their sleeve.
Chaos will do it. Of the 2 teams, I mean, it's literally in their name. Come on. Psycho is gonna be pre-firing the usual spots as you see, especially with that LMG. Works out very well with that high ammo capacity, pre-firing inside of the shower area. So. Appears that they are going to be holding quite far off of sight. Chaos has Red Groove as well. This is Compadre upstairs inside of Master Bedroom. That's going to be the Legion of Red Groove as Psycho doing his damnedest to try and find any of them. Hot marks coming out from all these drones. NIP has been so good on this information game, especially coming off of yesterday.
Red Groove, of course, wrapping around the corner. NIP trying to move very quickly to isolate out these roamers, and they've done a good job of it. A 2-for-1 trade. They will lose their Capital, which could prove very bad when they get to the XQ, but they still come out winning on the numbers end of clearing out those roamers upstairs.
Very interested to see that Chaos did not pull away any hard breachers, especially on this map. The only hard breacher that got pulled away was Mav, but the reason you pull Mav away is because he is so good at attacking CCTV, and he definitely warrants a ban in that matter. So we're going to have both of the routine hard destructors on the board, Thermite and Habana, followed with Julio on the Thatcher. So going to be a lot of hard destruction coming through. All those hatches are going to be open. You're going to have Mud Tunnel open. Lots of things that they can do with that amount of utility.
So the tunnel's been opened up. Vitaline looks like he's moved himself over to keep close watch on that, but it's basically a distraction that they've thrown at them. It's popped open, yes, but it's more than likely not going to lead to any actual push from NIP. So we're just trying to pull some defenders away. We've got a few players dropping down from the second floor. Mind you, there's only 30 seconds left. They do have the second hatch open. Secretly, in the meanwhile, is able to catch Kamikaze as they attempt to start pushing onto the site. That's the diffuser gone down as well. And I'm not sure if NIP have anyone nearby to retrieve it as easily as they would like. 20 seconds left now. This is starting to become really stressful for NIP. Chaos haven't been challenged at all. They probably don't even have great intel either because their early game has been focused on the second floor so much. In they're going to move. Vitaline's going to get cornered here in the 3v1. But like we said, it goes down to a 3v1. They can't find secretly the diffuser is down there trying to look for him, but he's running away. He's going to be able to escape into gym. And on the timer, Chaos will steal the round right out of NIP's hands.
Now that is a heads-up play right there by Chaos. Just full sprint up the main stairs. Don't look back. You don't want to know if they're chasing you or not. Works his way towards weights and is able to stay alive in that sense. So Chaos going to sneak one under Nip on that first round. And again, all they needed was the diffuser. They already had map presence. They cleared out top floor pretty quickly with a very nice pinch. Got information early with those drones and were able to isolate off Red Groove and his friend upstairs. So after they both got punished, it came on down to just trying to get down onto site. But again, after that pick where the gentleman with the diffuser died outside, they would have had to rotate all the way over through Mud Tunnel to try to grab that, but to no avail.
So a good start for Chaos, especially escaping out from the 1v3 in a situation where they really should not have been able to do that. You got to get props to Kaid, though, able to drop that diffuser right in the nick of time. Definitely a miscommunication or a misposition at very minimum from NIP, and it's going to cost them at least this first round, as well as a successful attack from basement. The ability to repeat the attack should have things gone well, and it was looking like it gone well, too. The roam clear was great. Their execute looked relatively solid, despite the fact they lost a few players in the process of doing it. But ultimately, they don't have that option anymore. Chaos win the defense, so we're moving around. We're heading up to Cash CCTV next.
All right, as you said, Cash and CCTV is what's on the docket currently for Chaos. And traditionally what we've seen at the tournament so far is people holding this from underneath with whether a Valkyrie or somebody that can get that intel to try and nitro cell off anyone planting on B. They try and hold down the wall of CCTV, but it never works out. You basically count that as a lost cause right off the rip. If you're able to secure it, that's fine, but it only happens about 5 to 10% of the time. Most of the time, it is going to be the offense being able to get that wall open, really have free reign over that site. So once that wall is open, it is just going to be no man's land. You don't want to be there. Secretly going to be trying his best to bandit trick it, but it's going to be very hard with both of those hard destructors on deck, because once Julio thatchers it, you could actually have both of them line up, put both types of hard destruction on both ends, and then blow them at the same time. He has to pick one wall, and more than likely, he's just going to back off. But we are going to have the first exothermic charge blow open the bottom of Garage, which traditionally speaking is a strat used to try and get somebody off of Catwalk, but in this sense, Chaos is not going to have somebody playing on Catwalk, so Nip is not going to have to worry about it too much.
So again, a slow opener for the most part between NIP here as they are trying to work their way in. Secretly is going to try his best to continue to trick this and prevent the wall from being blasted open. This is an active attempt to try and stop this, which we actually haven't seen a whole lot of today when we've gone over here towards Clubhouse. Secretly is not going to be able to continue tricking it, but they do get an appropriate Hatcher Grenade on top to knock out both the batteries that Secretly could have used, and with that, the wall on the west side is going to be blasted open. East side, I guess.
All right, yeah, exactly. The east side is where
it's like a border.
Yeah, don't worry, I do the same thing all the time. It happens. So many maps. Anyways, despite that fact, Ninjas in Pyjamas does have the CCTV wall open from the east side. So more than likely you're going to be seeing some of the NIP members go underneath, trying and find anyone that's roaming in this lounge area, which is a traditional thing for defense. They are going to find Vitaline rotating in through stocks. Here's the Thatcher's going to be ready for him, but apparently not ready enough, as Julio will go down to the hands of Vitaline, and it's going to be Ninjas in Pyjamas trying to battle back now from a man disadvantages. We're actually going to have a run out from, again, I do believe that was Vitaline running out of the, no, it was actually Crips. Crips running out from the door over for the connector for the bar area, but appears that Ninjas in Pyjamas will finally fight back as Psycho will find Vitaline. And he's going to keep tacking on. Crips, the next one to fall for Chaos here. And things are starting to just spin in the wind here for Ninjas in Pyjamas. They really can't find their footing. Pre-Fire's coming through trying to find anybody on the other side of the wall, but it's going to fall on absolutely no one, as we do have X-ray vision, so we know no one's there.
Of course. It's great stuff from Psycho right there. That scope definitely proving its worth and being able to try and clear out these halls as quickly as possible as he picks up that quick double kill. on the Capitao. Besides this, secretly some of the others trying to play. You can see this tiny pinhole angle. He is right below the stairs. Kamikaze is going to rush right through the smoke. Secretly missed the chance, but he doesn't care. Jumps right into the fray anyway. Follows it up with a second. Mosey will trade against Renewals. But it's not going to matter much into a 2v2. Plan attempt coming down. If they stop this, they pretty much got the round on lock right now. They're also incredibly low. You can see Mosey and Psycho at 25 HP or less. The plan actually does go down successfully. Chaos chooses not to pressure it at this point. They're going to hold back like a little bit more passively to this one. You can see secretly he's already pushed himself onto the site. He needs his second teammate though in order to make this work. Mosey has got a good angle to play against Red Groove as he starts to work his way back in, but he gave it up a little bit too early. Secretly from back up the red stairs, picks up the first. Mosey with the trade though, trying to keep NIP into this. Now it's Mosey versus Secretly. No! Secretly turns it around at the last second. There should be time for the defuse, plenty of it. And with that, we will see the defenders come out on top.
Absolutely terrifying there for Mosey at the end. That hip fire able to find a headshot, which saved his life. An AK in the hands of Zofia, so very powerful. But no matter what, Chaos is going to find their second round here on CCTV. Main thing is they did get a lot of their utility used early on to open up the wall and really forge what they wanted onto site, but they didn't get aggressive with it. They found out that there was a couple of roamers downstairs, but those roamers were still allowed to do their job. They wasted plenty of time messing around with Ninjas in Pyjamas, and they got a few kills for it as well. Granted, it was on kind of a run out, but still, a kill is a kill, and it's nothing crazy that we haven't seen before. We've seen plenty of extremely aggressive teams here, and Chaos definitely fits that category. So we'll see if Ninjas in Pyjamas can finally find some footing, or is apparently my curse going to continue as Nip is losing.
Unfortunately, they are to start things off, but that's good news for the fans of the Swedish roster. So this is another team. I want to talk about this before. Overall, this LAN has just been a huge proving ground. We have so many teams with really good stories of not so great play over the past few months, but great starts in the Swiss stage here. And Chaos and Nip, to a certain degree, are no exception to this. Chaos, a team that's been around for a pretty long time, but unfortunately haven't been able to accomplish a whole lot in that time. They've had a 5th to 6th place finish in Pro League for the last 3 seasons consecutively, meaning they just barely have been able to have escaped the LAN qualification for 3 seasons running, but have still been able to maintain their position regardless of that. It's very rare we actually see them on LAN. It's usually at the minors where we finally get to be treated with their presence. And obviously working their way through this bracket and earning that major slot would be a huge deal for them, given their difficulties with qualifying for LANs in the past.
Well, definitely it appears that their defensive game has not switched up too much, but Ninjas in Pyjamas definitely not as potent as they were yesterday on offense, so we'll see if they can finally find something here on round number 3. They're going to be attacking the master bedroom area. Traditionally speaking, you do hold that from across over inside of Cache, so going to have to deal with that in some sort of a sense. They do have plenty of hard destruction to definitely take care of it, and they are going to have Julio on that Thatcher once again, but it looks like they're currently barreling down onto Jacuzzi Wall. Mute is in play as well as Bandit, but Crips is nowhere to be found as the Thatcher will go down on Jacuzzi Wall, and Kamikaze will pop that open with an exothermic charge.
And there we go. First wall open. Start of the push here for NIP. Obviously a lot more room to go here still. Vital Line going to be playing against in the bathroom. He does have one wall already broken open leading into the bathroom, meaning that if the attackers take him out, that could be easy access to the site at a minimum. So a little bit of droning work needs to be done here for NIP. They don't feel confident to push into it just yet. It's a huge stack of players right around the corner. 4 out of 5 of them waiting right on the balcony. Could be dangerous if someone decides to push into that. But in the meanwhile, Hibana is going to look to try and knock out the wall. It's going to force Vitaline out. And also, Psycho on the other side of the map, able to find a snipe on a Renewals inside a construction window.
Very tight-knit angle there from Psycho as he was outside for that one. Crips lying in wait over inside of CCTV, trying to find himself some prey, but Psycho definitely no fool as Julio will actually find secretly over the end of the map, and Psycho will attack on with Vito. So they just continue to fall into their lap everywhere, and it's going to continue down for Nip as they will find their first round. Shooting fish in a barrel here on round number 3.
Yeah, that's the Nip we expected to see coming into this matchup here. That's the one that's been showing up to this tournament throughout most of the play so far. Nice surgical takedown. No one really even having to take any risks for the most part from NIP. They all had relatively safe positions. Like you said, just knocking them out one by one.
Well, that's just good utility usage from Nip. They opened up a lot of angles that made it to where Chaos could not feel comfortable where they were currently lined. So they had to rotate around their site, and that's when you have those other outliers like Psycho over the other things, getting free kills just off people trying to rotate to a safer location inside of site.
We're gonna moving back to the basement for the next round here, after unfortunately the upstairs gym bedroom does not end up treating the guys from Chaos so well. And IP, of course, still looking to capitalize on as many rounds on attack as possible before the half closes out.
I will say one thing. I'm kind of at a loss for words onto which logo do you think is cooler? I'm just asking because, I mean, you know, Ninjas in Pyjamas, it's like a shuriken, right? And then you have Chaos's, which is like a snake biting its own tail. I mean, dude, come on.
I come from Counter-Strike.
So it's got to be Nip.
So it's going to be Nip.
Okay.
Chaos was born in Dota, so.
Okay.
You know, both Valve titles.
I'd have to go with Nip as well. They win 2-0 and they also have the cooler logo, so that's how it works. I mean, I'm scared of snakes, dude. I'm serious.
Are you?
Yeah, snakes in the form of females and snakes also in the form of animals. So, you know.
Never seen a snake in the wild, fun fact.
It's probably a good thing. I used to live in a house that had a bunch of snakes, but that's besides the point.
Don't remind me of that.
That's besides the point. We are going to have Chaos once again on the defense. They've been looking pretty good so far. That last round, just kind of a blunder on their end. Ninjas in Pyjamas having that good utility use as discussed prior, making it very hard for them to sit idly by inside of sight and wait on it. So here's that they will be going back downstairs as that site will be unlocked as we are on round number 4. And Ninjas in Pyjamas trying to handle things relatively the same. They are going to be opening up Mud Tunnel, but again, they do have a lot of hard destruction. So they're going to be able to get every single hatch and every single panel that they possibly want. They can get open mud, they can push down main stairs, try and get church wall with thermite, get all the hatches open with Pino, anything along those lines. But the one you want to pay attention to on the defense to try and counteract that is going to be secretly playing that Kaid. Such a good operator, fantastic weapon as discussed prior today, but that utility is really what comes through on him. He might be a 3 armor, but his utility really shines through. Mainly due to the fact that he will be able to get those Habana charges off of those hatches when they launch. And it's a little bit faster on the timer, whereas Thermite's exothermic charges are very, very quick. The X-Cairo pellets are pretty slow comparative.
Off of this one now. We've got MIP still taking a pretty slow approach in the lead up here. Also, of course, you can see working on getting themselves over with the hatches still, but they've got a minute and 40 seconds left, so not necessarily stressed for time at this point in the game. Predator sitting right next to Pino here down below, but thankfully the wall transitioning the hallway into the next room will prevent any type of fragging from going on there. You've got a reinforced wall to support it too. Not a whole lot of restriction on the main stairs, so Pino's actually able to walk right down. And assuming he can get good control of this hallway, that'll open up the pathway for the rest of his teammates to try and drop down, as we're going to see some of the asphyxiating bolts being used. That is going to force back Red Group and stop any attempt to stop the breach on the primary wall. This will now open up the possibility for players to not only go through drop into hatches, but also push from the main stairs and actually start this take. Still with a minute left too, so Nip are doing really good on time right now.
Plenty of time, as you said, for Ninjas in Pyjamas to try and make something happen here. Psycho still has plenty of utility as well as he's trying to find Vitaline. Starts inside of blue, but Chaos is just going to wait idly by. And that's the smart thing to do here. Vitaline's finally going to try and get aggressive, but Boozy will match him. Things are starting to pop off here. Plenty of toxic babes over near Moto, but going to lay down his renewals, but Kamikaze with a headshot's going to clean that one up. Oh my goodness, as we're going to have things transcend. Finally, Psycho tacking on for Ninjas in Pyjamas as they are going to come on top of this. It's going to be all left up to Crips on his lonesome in the back of Armory. Finally, Kamikaze will find his mark. It's going to be Ninjas in Pyjamas back to tie it up. And
IP shut it down, and we, as you said, are tied up now at 2-2. A few more rounds left in the half before we end up switching sides. And it's NIP that seems to have, although getting off to a bit of a bumpy start, have really turned things around quickly and are now winning these rounds decisively, judging from the last 2.
Oh, man. Hands getting so sweaty. You got 2 towels and a fan.
You got a fan, yeah. I was wondering if that was a fan. I had to like double check it.
Yeah, I know. I was looking at it for a second. I was like, I really don't want to say this and sound stupid, you know? No, but he's actually got a fan on his hand as well as 2 towels. That's how you know this man is in sweat mode. Let me tell you. Like I have actually had a couple discussions with pros from various teams about you know, how they deal with that kind of stuff, and some of them even say, you know, once you hit that proper, you know, amount of heat on your body, the mouse just feels right. It's like it's molded to your hand. Like, I'm so serious.
That's so gross.
Right? It is, but apparently, I mean, it helps some of them play, I guess. Sometimes you need sometimes you need a fan, sometimes you need to sweat it out, Blue. Come on.
He had a chamois towel there, too, if I noticed.
How do you think Hype is so good?
Those are very absorbent.
The ShamWow. You'll never need another towel again.
All right, so running back into the next round now. NIP still, of course, with the current advantage, I would say, based on the way the rounds have played out. They won 2 pretty decisive rounds, 2 very surgically executed rounds. Like I said, getting access to both the basement sites with, still a little over a minute left in time to play with. They've had the luxury of pretty easy executes here for the most part. So Chaos may need to kick up the aggression a little bit in order to try to get this in the way. They did a little bit of work with this, I think, in some of the earlier rounds. They did a pretty good job of running interference with roaming presence, but it's we didn't really see a whole lot of that last round. What we did see was taken care of relatively quickly.
Chaos pulling out what seems to be kind of an older strat that was used quite often back in the day. The basement wall of church, where you interchange the walls here over on your other side, where they have that bandit battery going that Renewals is standing next to. They only have the one panel though, so I'm going to assume that somebody's reinforcing from the other side, but there is actually a little bit of a trick you can have to that if it's even still in the game. I haven't seen done in quite a long time, but you used to be able to vary the panels on both sides, so you go one on this side, one on the opposite side, then one on this side once again, and it would actually make it to where Thermite could not lay his exothermic charge in between them to make a bigger hole. He would have to choose a single panel instead of being able to get 2.5 or 1.5. So, some little insider knowledge there for you, Blue.
There you go. Appreciate that, man.
You're welcome.
Moving forward here again, about 2 minutes, a minute into it. It seems NIP have used this primarily as additional time to find information. They're playing a very slow game. Lines pretty well, though, with what they did on the previous round, too. Didn't really take a whole lot of proactive action to get into the map until about this 1 minute 50 mark, and now we're going to see them move in. You can already see the soft destruction capability coming out from Pino. He's going to try to see if he can find Red Groove, but obviously he's got the support for those reinforced walls on the inside of church behind the half bar, so he's not going to be too worried. It's literally the same exact execute as far as I can tell. It's going to be happening again from NIP here. It worked the first time pretty much flawlessly. Let's try it again. Let's try it again indeed, as we're going to have Psycho staring down the hole into the back of church, or at least behind the bar, but Psycho choosing if he wants to dedicate one of those tactical crossbow bolts, and he finally will, as he's going to set Red Groove on fire. And Red Groove tries to move out of the way, but not in enough time, as pretty heads-up play there by Psycho, and actually with that update to the bloom effect of that, it actually fills that entire minibar inside of church, that entire area. So you're not going to be able to try and bandit trick that. At best, you could probably try and use secretly, but that's not going to matter, as Moosey's finally going to find a target. He's going to line him up and knock him down. It's going to be Vitaline and secretly losing their lives to the Zofia, as Chaos just not looking too hot right now. It looks like Red Groove might have actually been able to get a successful trick off, as there was still one panel on the right that was electrified by the time he moved away, so they basically might have thrown his life away in order to hold that wall. Unfortunately, like you said, it didn't end up mattering too much, as we're still in a 5v2 ultimately here. Psycho looking to pick up the 5v1 potential. Falls a little bit short on that, gets a little bit of damage going, but nothing to remark about. We've got Pino moving forward here. Renewal is also waiting for an opportunity to try and pick something up with a shoddy at close range. He did SMG-11, but no. Psycho finds his teammate, and now he sits alone. There's only 10 seconds left, so for the first time in a while, Chaos have been stressed for time, but they have full access to the other site. The plant will be available. And even so, they won't need it, as they'll pick up the last kill without too much trouble anyway. So many Ninjas in Pyjamas members that if you just tuned into the stream, you probably thought they were on defense. But no, it is going to be Chaos on defense. That's a perfect round. It's going to come through off the back of Moosey's efforts. That 3K really helping him out. And so this will take us into the final round of the first half. It's NIP that's now shot ahead after Chaos took the first 2 rounds of it. NIP are now 3 straight, looking to make it 4, as they can take a potential lead with a victory here in this last round. Ninjas in Pyjamas is looking to continue on this trend, as what we've talked about before with LATAM in the past is how emotional they definitely can get, and it shows on both ends of the spectrum. Angry, happy, sad. It's what we love about our LATAM teams, and we love to see it around the league. And sometimes it comes from the coaches, players, or what have you. But right now, definitely showing some emotion, a little bit of anger. Is like, guys, this is what we're supposed to be doing from the rip. Why is it just happening now? But hey, we are winning these rounds now. Let's try and get the 4-2 split, continue on this trend. All right, well, into the next round we go. It's going to be a bit of a change-up once again from Chaos after 2 unsuccessful rounds in the basement. They'll try Cash one last time. Had a pretty good result on this one the first time they tried it, but like you said, there's been a bit of a change-up. NIP slowed their attacks down drastically from what they were doing in the first 2 rounds, and that strategy has worked absolutely brilliantly for them so far. It's been a complete flip. We've had a lot more one-sided rounds in their favor. The weird thing that's standing out to me currently is the last round that Chaos held CCTV. They did not put somebody up top on Catwalk inside of Garage, but they still dedicated the reinforcements, which I guess it does force them to kind of use a little bit of that utility
from the Hard Destructor. Obviously, probably doing that last time, more than likely going to do it again. But not having somebody play Catwalk is kind of a detriment, because if you gain control of that, they definitely have every single cross that you can possibly hold into server, whether it be from that east wall or from the garage. It's very, very dangerous to even try and peek into the room. So I'm very interested to see why Chaos is doing that. I might have to ask them later, but right now there's nothing that's standing out to me on why that is the strat from them.
We'll see how this builds up later on in the round. Hopefully we'll get an answer to that from Chaos too. These things are still moving very slowly. It aligns pretty well with what we had been seeing in the past from NIP. Rosie, a bit of a dangerous situation for him as he does have the Valkyrie close by, but he's able to dodge any real danger here by quickly working up the top onto the balcony, where he'll now sit ready to try and play this out.
Well, I will say, if all the rounds did not put somebody on cat, this might be the one. Psycho finally donning that Montang. The mountain. This EMPs are going to rain down on this east wall. Secretly, he's going to try his damnedest, but it's not going to work out for him. And as you can see, explosive finish there by the Thermite, but not much damage done to him, even though he got a little bit of an electric shock. Still plenty of life to take a gunfight, though, obviously, as Montang is going to be moving his way up the catwalk, and it appears that Ninja's in Pyjamas, ready to try and get this diffuser down. They do still have to worry about a possible Nitro cell from underneath by Red Group. They heard those shots earlier coming in through the blue stairs window, so they definitely know that someone's still on Realm. It's time to go and hunt them down.
So slow play, once again, is the name of the game here for NIP, but it's slow play, slow progress at the same time. They're still making forward momentum. They're still getting closer to the site, despite the fact that they're not getting kills on top of it. Most importantly as well, they're wasting out some of the additional utility from Chaos while still being able to complete everything they need to do. The Montaigne now just entering CCTV for the first time, opens up an opportunity for them to play off of, and Julio gets the first frag. Psycho's going to be pushed back from the smoke grenade. Renewals will also find the first trade, bring this into a 4v4. Signs of a little bit of trouble here. Psycho's actually going to have to get into a fight for the first time in a bit of a while. The slash against him, but no! A teammate bails him out at the last second. It looks like Kamikaze able to take out secretly Vitaline in the meanwhile, also picking up one, and Psycho's still alive in this crazy fight at the end of it. Crips will find the last trade, and that leaves us in a 3v1. NIP has failed on their assault for the first time in 3 rounds, and now it puts Kamikaze into a clutch.
It's going to be a late rotate by the Jaeger of Vitaline, and finally Renewals will find the last kill for Chaos to claim around and make this thing 3-3 here at the split. One biggest thing here is that the roam game finally showed up for Chaos there at the tail end. So Vitaline again, late rotate through Garage, will find quite a few lives to claim for his own, as Chaos will walk out on this split again, tied up 3-3.
Talked about that being what they needed in order to get past these really strong strategies that we were seeing from NIP. Unfortunately for them, it was only enough to pick up 3 rounds, so the teams are going to remain tied at the end of the first half. The sides will switch as we head into the second half momentarily, and we'll get to see which team will come out on top. And Chaos now keep this going. Now they're going to be switching over towards the attackers. NIP still have their entire defensive strategy book to throw out at Chaos, and can they use that to swiftly close out the first map on Clubhouse?
Well, Clubhouse for a very long time was a map that you more often or not split. So we'll see if it's going to continue that same trend here, or is NIP going to fire ahead now that they are on defense? It's been a defensive-sided map for a very long time, but I will remind you that it really does matter on what 2 teams are on the field. Chaos known for they're very aggressive offensives. Last time that we saw them on the main stage, though, that was not the case. They were very good on defense, but the offense was just not there. Hopefully, they can have that back in their possession, as they are going to be on the offensive side of things now. So, Ninjas in Pyjamas, right off rip here, appears that they are going to go with a roam game from the basement, which used to be a no-no. Nowadays, you see it quite often as they are trying to waste as much time as possible, or just try and get an early pick and then eventually rotating back down to site and just playing out their life. But it appears that Muzi will be playing over near the blue stairs. I don't believe that we have anybody else. They all rotate back downstairs. It appears so. We do have Psycho over near bathroom, but it appears that he's rotating down main stairs right now. Actually, no, I believe he's at the back of Armory Locker. So they're going to completely abandon ship. Actually, no, he's going to be playing main stairs. Doing my best to make call-outs through the ceiling.
A lot of change-ups here.
Yes, he's well, obviously he has legs as well, so he could have moved. I'm gonna back up there for a second, but NIP appears to be holding down every staircase that they possibly can to enter the basement, which is not a bad idea. Not a lot of teams do that, and Crips is going to take quite a bit of damage for it as well.
Following that one up now, We'll see a lot of damage, like you said, going on to players like Fritz, who attempts to try and push for a little bit of aggression early on. He's going to get punished for that. Renewal's also taking some heat, too, losing about 25 HP from an earlier fight. But Muzi, the first player from NIP, definitely come out of the losing end of this. So he'll have to be very careful about how he proceeds from this point forward. Now, to be fair, again, he did get a little bit of damage. Secretly lost another 25 HP. So they're chipping it away. And overall, coming out the winning end of this, along with the added benefit of wasting this time. It's not anywhere near significant yet. They've had to fall back pretty aggressively, and Chaos still has a little under 2 minutes left. But the chip damage could come into play when the site execute happens.
Yeah, this makes your gunfights easier. Don't have to put nearly as many bullets in them, obviously, but not a bad way to hold basement, honestly, dedicating 2 people to the staircases and making it to where it just makes it a little bit harder to take over that section of the map. Chaos, though, are going to use one of their breaching charges to look down into the staircase and make sure that Renewals can walk down without getting nitro celled. Speaking of, though, Julio will find Vitaline upstairs with a nitro cell through the Moto hatch as soon as it opens. Tosses out, claims the life of the thermite. So, Mud Tunnel more than likely not going to get opened.
Secretly. So still trying to work his way downstairs with the rest of Chaos. They don't actually have the kitchen hatch open just yet either. They are going to throw down, as you can see, the explosions coming in from the other side of the coin here. They are going to throw down both the asphyxiating bolts in order to make sure that they can hopefully get this hatch open without too much of an issue. But Pito, along with Kamikaze, been forced back into the tunnel as a result of this. With them going away now, all eyes from NIP, for the most part, they're in this site, have eyes on that hatch. Of course, if it's possible to try and deny it, but I don't think that's in the cards at this point. More so to counter out the push when it happens. Chaos needs to start this push soon, as they've only got 35 seconds left.
2 NIP members dedicated to each site, then 1 holding down blue just in case Chaos decide to send somebody on a flank or off on some heroic ship kind of play. But as of right now, Redgroove's actually going to kill Krebs, and that's not going to be a good opening. He'll finally find someone that's not on his team. It's going to be Psycho. Secretly, though, we'll tack on to that, is they're going to have to try and get aggressive here, and that's exactly what will come through. But Julio trying to bounce back as much as possible. Renewals finding his way. Knows someone's behind Black Box, but Julio will not lose a gunfight right now. It's all up to Secretly as he's going to peek again, but Julio going to dip, dash, dive, dip, and dash right back behind that Black Box. Going to remain his life and keep another round here. So they finally take the lead once again.
If you can dodge a bullet, you can dodge a ball.
That's how you know it's the end of the day.
Yeah. So we'll get into it. NIP, of course, gets the strong start on basement, meaning they can start to form their site triangle. We'll probably move over to Cash and CCTV after this, as most teams do expect. They occasionally get that little flip up and go to Gym first, but I don't think we're going to see that with NIP. That's indeed, that is the case from the big screen there.
Such a beautiful screen. I wish I had that at my house, man, let me tell you.
Your power bill might be a little bit crazy if you have one of those.
That's true. I mean, this isn't
that's actually about like 20 screens put together.
That's how powerful this pyramid is. Really. I mean, all that energy, so much energy inside of this pyramid.
You better have a few solar panels on your roof. That's all I'm gonna say.
Exactly. But falling apart in the latter half of that round there for Chaos is, honestly, I thought they had it there at the last second, but Julio thought otherwise. They had really what they needed early on, but the kill from Redgroove onto Vitaline was a very big deal. And the reasoning for that is because he could have possibly gotten Church Wall open. He still did have an exothermic charge. So him not having that and them not being able to get Church Wall open due to the fact that Redgroove had already used all of his X-Kairos rounds, not the best thing that could have possibly happened. Makes it where you have to try and go through a funnel towards those team members, and they're able to just obviously mow you down as you come through those doors. So making it a little bit easier on Ninjas and Pyjamas in that last round, but we'll see if they can possibly switch things up and do as they usually do on offense and find that aggression.
Well, again, we're going to have Jaeger moving out just to get these reinforcements deployed more than, well, actually probably not going to be so much in this case, more so than anything. I think hoping to get lucky and catching one of the players from Chaos this early on. At this point, it's not looking like it's happening too much. Regardless, of course, since we are over here towards CCTV Cash, we've already got the Thermite in position by the sidewall at CCTV as they look to attempt to deal with that relatively quickly. It's probably going to be some time, though, before we see the attempt at it. You got to wait for the Thatcher to come into play and help you out with that, unfortunately. So he's all on his own right now, Vitaline.
Everything as you do for Chaos so far is they are going to use Nules Capital to be able to get rid of the bandit from downstairs on that garage angle that everyone found out once everyone started reinforcing it to hold down garage. You can see the window up to see if anyone wants to try and rotate to catwalk, or you can use a little bit of utility to get the man off and try the bandit trick. And that's exactly what Chaos is going to do, using a little bit of that utility from the Capital once again. Now, the thing for Chaos is, last round, they were able to get all the angles that they wanted, but they really couldn't do anything with them. This round looks like it's starting to be more of the same. They've already got the wall open. It's only halfway through this round, but you have to find those kills. You have to make Nip mess up, and right now it seems like they're playing more of their utility game and not anything else. As Psycho, once again, will open things up.
Muzi at least is going to get cornered finally from the inside of garage due to them popping open the wall. Renewals will be the one to pick up the frag itself from just by the main doorway. I think secretly helped out with that, however, from his position over at the sidewall by CCTV. Bana also trying to pop open the construction wall that'll lead them into cash. So like you said, a lot of angles being open, but still only down to a 4v4. They got a minute left though, so it's not exactly terrible for timing. NIP was in a very similar situation for a large part of the half. Now it's about the push. How do they execute? A lot of pressure from NIP there in red stairs, so that's going to be the focus for Chaos when the execute finally commits.
And Psycho's actually going to run out of strip. That MPX so terrible at range, going to do barely any damage to the Capital, but enough to make his presence known, as they will know that someone is not on site. So Kamikaze will be the first one to fall. It's going to be the smoke on site, as we already had Muzi from earlier on. This is when things are going to get very aggressive for Chaos, as they are opening the door to the site currently. Again, they had Psycho off the site. That Nitro Cell's going to come down from underneath. The other two are locked onto cash stairs, as Pino will be the first one to fall over with his brethren Julio, as it's going to be all left up to Psycho, who is off the site. His Nitro Cell's already been taken. He's going to try and gunfight the Capital, but actually Psycho's going to come out on top, even though he did not have the high ground. Has to battle his way back up the cash stairs. IQ doing her damnedest, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Crips finally able to secure that last kill, and Chaos will find their first round on offense.
So definitely stressing the timer a little bit there for Chaos, but going up against NIP, you saw how passive they were playing into that site anyway. Can't really blame them for needing to take all the time the round had to offer, as Chaos still managed to come out on top of that one. Unfortunately, I think it was NIP just stacking a little bit too heavily towards those red stairs. Didn't have enough pressure coming in from the other side, from the cash room itself, able to counter that out. And as a result, they crumble under that pressure, and Chaos take the site and close out the 3v1 easily.
Well, see, it's a very weird thing from Chaos right now. Again, as previously said, they're usually very aggressive on offense, which isn't a bad thing, especially if it's controlled aggression, as we've talked about throughout the day. But with Chaos right now, it's more or less like they get site control, and especially in that last round, they kind of get handed site on a silver platter after those two picks, and they don't try and get into site. They kind of still wait back a little bit, get either some info on drones, or try to figure out exactly who still remains on site, then get into site, which is something that we really haven't seen today. It's more or less been, oh, we got to pick, guys. Well, we're going to try and just take over site as fast as possible. Chaos having a little bit of a different idea about it.
Well, we'll get ourselves into the next round, of course, which is once again going to be an attempt at CCTV and cash from NIP. Like I said, an overall good hold, just kind of debatable positioning at the end of the, or I should say at the start of the execute from Chaos there that ultimately put the round in NIP's hands. Now it's time to see if they can correct these mistakes and still pick up the W here to keep their lead going strong, as we've kind of fallen into yet another seesaw matchup. We've had quite a few of these in the tournament this weekend.
Well, we are going to have Muzi back up on top of the catwalk. Last time getting asphyxiated, bolted from Renewals, and ended up passing away to the M249. So let's see if they're going to try more of the same. Now, in this current patch that we're playing on, you obviously can still see through those bars, but in the patch that's going to be coming up next, you're not going to be able to, which will definitely change up how you hold down this site, and it's going to make that angle that you can hold on the door all that more powerful. But this time you'll actually have to show your head in order to shoot that person playing on the catwalk, but instead right now we are still going to be having these bars that you can see through. So obviously we are going to have somebody dedicated up to catwalk most of the time, unless you are Chaos, which we saw earlier, not really wanting to put anybody on catwalk to try and hold down garage, even though they were dedicating the reinforcements. But right now for Chaos, it seems to be more of the same, as they are going to be focusing some of their sites onto construction, using that hard destruction right now, though, to be able to get open that east wall of the CCTV room.
let's see once again how well this is able to build itself up secretly, like you're saying before, already holding the rappel to see if he can capitalize on anyone from NIP that gets a little bit too aggressive. In general, it's not been a problem for NIP though, so probably not going to be able to get a whole lot off of that Pino. He's going to have pressure being thrown at him from logistics as he's still able to extend this far out. Remember, all 5 still alive here. The drone trying to isolate him. It seemed to have worked out for Crips, but no, Pino gets the better of him yet again, only losing about half of his HP in the process, putting NIP ahead.
That AR of IQ, so very powerful, actually having the highest damage margin in the game for assault rifles. But not going to matter here as Pino will win it out with the 416, which is the only rifle on defense as of right now, unless you want to count Kaid's shotgun, as we talked about previously. But despite that, we do have Muzi on an absolute island right now. He'll eventually get found, not rescue, he'll get killed by renewals. And Psycho with the Clash, going to try and play off him as Julio, and he's actually going to end up winning it out. Granted, he does not have very much life left, but you're not going to see a reset, as they have changed that recently where you only get 20 HP back. So it's better to keep him up, keep that gun alive, and not try and waste too much time on that. Finally going to dedicate some stun grenades, but not going to capitalize off of it.
Attempting to get a flash off here against the Clash. Unfortunately, it's not really going to stop much. Red Groove, as you can see, trying to play through the drone hole, hoping to catch the feet of Psycho as he goes past, but to be honest, it's going to be a pretty rough angle to try and stabilize against the Clash to get the damage in. He's just not finding any of it. Still at pretty much full 100 HP. Well, I was able to chip off about 25, but now the card's been revealed. He knows he's got to be wary of that drone hole. 15 seconds left on the clock here as well now. Chaos know the time is low. They're going to force themselves in. Thermite also having taken a lot of damage here. Vitaline and Julio will trade blows. Goes down to just Red Groove. No, Vitaline now the last man standing as Vitaline accidentally took out Red Groove. He's trying his best. Picks up 2 all the way into a 1v1, but the timer decides the round, and IP instead come out on top.
All right, well, Vitaline definitely on his game for killing literally anything.
Including his teammates.
Yeah, including his teammates, which, I mean, at the end of the day, it really wouldn't have made that big of a difference because they did still have the smoke laying down inside of Cash Room, and he was able to stay alive no matter what. So, no matter the case, Chaos just needs to pick up the pace a little bit. Honestly, what they're reminding me of right now is Vitality, but the old Vitality. The Vitality that would attack in the last 15 seconds of every single round. They literally get everything open, everything they could possibly want to try and take sight. And then it comes down to the dire moments to go, hey guys, we kind of need that space. Would you mind if we had that? And obviously,
just slowly try to push them out.
Yeah, guys, come on. I don't want to have to kill you, you know? And looks like we are going to finally have a technical timeout here. Feels like there needs to be a conversation piece that's opening here with Chaos, and I'm very interested to see what they're going to try and make an adjustment. Blue, what do you think they're currently trying to discuss right now?
I think they're trying to figure out, first of all, how to try and get some earlier picks, because they really have been unable to punish, especially in the early game, any type of roaming presence. The Jaeger play at Hatch instead of Logistics, probably the best example of that last round, where they had drone intel going exactly where he was, had the right angle to peek it, but just couldn't win the fight ultimately. So they need to try and correct that, and it's a pretty hard issue to fix, because ultimately that's just coming out of winning fights. But obviously better intel, better engagement, trying to pinch some of these players out would also be another way to utilize that. Even just using utility, even if you don't kill them, just forcing them back to the site, prevent them from stealing map control away from you and wasting time.
I definitely agree with you on that. I think that their main issue right now is they're not pinching out roamers. They're getting the information. We saw that, but then they put IQ over there all by herself.
They're just trying to take a fight, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And then he ends up trying to lay down to get the angle, and the only thing that really is exposed at that angle is your head. All he has to do is hit that one thing and you die, obviously. So able to live out his life over there was Jaeger or Vitaline. But we'll see if that continues, or excuse me, I believe it was Muzi, I apologize. Obviously Vitaline on Chaos. Long day here definitely for the both of us, but as it was said, 5-4 right now, and appears that we might have another teeter-totter on our hands.
Could be possible, but ultimately we're heading back to basement now too. This is another chance for NIP to cut ahead. Chaos also found some success here earlier on, so this site's a bit of a toss-up. This site could go either way, like you said. We could end up in the teeter-totter, we could end up with NIP at map point, though, ultimately, too. Because they've also found some wins here, too, especially on the attacking side of things, but it's not where they are anymore. They've got to close out the defensive end of this, got to try and force Chaos out of the site for as long as humanly possible. Keep that roam game strong, because that's what allowed them to close out on it before.
Big thing for Chaos right now is they just need to stop team killing each other. I don't think that's something I have to spell out, but they've had 3 team kills in the span of 9 rounds.
Really?
Yeah, that's 33% of the time they team kill somebody in a round. That's massive. But instead of team killing, they're actually going to find a kill, and it's going to be Psycho. That's big news for Chaos early on.
Bit brute force in the way they establish it, but we talked about needing to deal with the roaming presence earlier on, and that's one way to do it. It's just walking right in and taking a fight against the Valkyrie. So that'll be Psycho going out early on in the round, and of course a 5v4 established against NIP here to hopefully leverage into a win for Chaos.
Yeah, but as we saw with Nip versus Team Secret, they're definitely not afraid to take gunfights even down a man. So they're more than likely going to see exactly what they wanted to do anyways, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Julio from main stairs will claim the life of Renewals as he's rotating down, but that is going to be the Capital. That's actually a really big deal. Last time Renewals came up big on that wall, getting the Bandit off to where they were able to use an exothermic charge to get it open, but this time around, not so much as the only thing being explosive is Julio, as he's going to find yet another kill, and it's going to be Crips going night-night, getting placed on the bench here until the next round.
So a nice little floor line explodes there. Allows for NIP to take better control over the current situation, bringing us into a 4 versus 3 now. Not the end of the world, not out of the round yet for Chaos. 3 players is where you certainly have to start being worried about their capability to execute, especially on a site area that's as large as this, as multifaceted as this. If Chaos try to split push this, it's going to be difficult. If they try to push it together, it's still going to be difficult. They don't have things like the sidewall open. And on top of that too, if they wanted to try and play to the same strategy that NIP was using, they can't try to get the Capital bolts through the sidewall into Church anymore because, well, he's dead. And obviously electronics detection is going to be completely out of their realm of possibility too.
Exactly. Chaos really can't follow suit without that utility on deck. What they could do is they could try and get rid of some of the ADSs placed on the other side with some of those stun grenades and bounce a nade over and try and get rid of those bandit batteries. But I don't think that's going to be the case here for Chaos. So they're just waiting for Ninjas and Pyjamas to mess up, and that's kind of been their playstyle on their offensive side for this entire tournament. They're trying to force the other team to mess up. They're not really applying any pressure. It seems like they're thinking about getting aggressive. Secretly will finally rotate to Ash Rush, but finally Vitaline will find Pino over by the gun rack here and going to open up the back of Armory for a possible plant as the rest of NIP trying to play pretty safe as grenades are going to come through, but Muzi will end up finding Vitaline. It's going to be a trade fest here as Julio will finally come out on top. It's going to be Chaos underneath right now. It's all left up to Red Groove, but not too many bullets, and Muzi playing Ring Around the Rosie on the boxes will finally get a hold of Red Groove and choke that snake out, as it is going to be match point here for Ninjas and Pyjamas.
NIP shooting ahead. Mind you guys, again, this is just a best of 3, so only on map number 1 right now. If NIP comes out on top, they won't win the series just yet.
Yeah, don't leave just yet.
Yeah.
This is the last game of the day. I know you guys have been here for a while. You know, plenty of brews, especially inside of here, being shared, and good fun all day. But we're not done just yet, even if this map is going to finish 7-4.
See, of course, how things are able to build up. NIP is going on a real streak here. Chaos, however, coming very close to closing out on the basement round, falling just short in the 2v1 at the end of it, and ultimately losing, I think, some of their key executors, like the Capital in the early round, played into that as it very much hurt their ability to execute at sub 1 minute.
I will say, though, again, about the fan and just the team in general, this team is ice cold no matter what, really. Just ice in their veins, really, at every step of the way. Cool, calm, and collected, what I'm trying to get at. And especially in chaotic moments like that, where, you know, they've all of a sudden got control of the back of Armory. They're trying to push up, trying to find those frags. And Muzi just taking his time, just circling the box, just waiting, trying to waste as much time as possible. If he gets the frag, that's fine, but he's trying to get as much time off the board as he possibly can. Eventually finding the Habana, claiming that last round, but you definitely have to respect how calm they are inside of this chaos.
Yeah. Still a lot of room here for NIP to sneak away with the victory. Of course, they have to work their way towards gym and bedroom now. It's like they haven't played into too much, if I recall correctly, here on the defensive side. Be a bit of a new adventure for them, but still, with the way they've been confidently holding the 2 other sites they've been primarily playing into, I'm not too worried about their ability to close out on this one either. And use a lot of the same strategies to squeeze Chaos out and prevent them from finding success, most importantly in the early round, which leverages itself to success in the late round as well.
All right, well, last time that we saw any team go here, it was Chaos, and they actually ended up losing that. They never went back to it. One and done, and that was actually the first round that NIP ended up winning. So will it be the last round that they win as well? I have to find that one out. But for Chaos, they need to play a little bit more tight-knit. They've kind of fallen apart trying to do their own thing, except for, obviously, your Thatcher Thermite pair trying to get walls open. But Julio standing by to try and bandit trick as another set of his bandit batteries will go down. Apparently he thought someone was trying to drop a charge, but not going to be the case. And secretly, we'll check another one of those EMPs over into the server area, just trying to get rid of any goo mines or anything that could possibly be thwarting them from getting some presence.
Secretly still waiting for something to reveal itself here. Also with the sidewall already being opened over in CCTV, that is giving his teammates a little bit more room to play off of as well, as they can also push an attempt to squeeze out the two players that are currently holding in cash steps in cash room itself. And the minute 40 seconds left, Chaos taking a pretty respectable amount of progress here to start things off, but still a long way to go, essentially with no damage done to any player. And overall, I would assume a bit of a lack of intel from Chaos, since we haven't been able to see too much of their droning efforts just yet. This is where it's going to get a little bit risky.
And
just waiting for it. Oh no, that's the fuser too.
You almost gotta feel bad for him, but not too bad as he was knocking
on that door for a good 30 seconds. And hey, look, his teammate traded out a moment later anyway. But Pino is gonna get really aggressive here. Unfortunately, only feeds Vitaline a little bit more as he picks up a second from that window.
Well, the one thing NIP has done very well is be patient. This time around, not so much, as Chaos is just going to claim lives off of a little bit of over-peeking there by Psycho and Pino. Wasn't even really Psycho's fault. He thought he was safe, but somebody came for that refrag, and it worked out pretty well as the plant's now going down by Vitaline, but he's going to soon vacate the area, and actually he's going to get taken down by a Nitro Cell, and someone else is going to get down. Muzi will find a kill as well. It's all down to Secretly, but Muzi does not have very much HP, and they're definitely going to know that he got lit up. Hot marks coming out. Oh my goodness, the deployable shield's actually going to be in his way, so there's no way that he can possibly shoot him from the other end of his bed. He's got to try and waste as much time as possible. Hot marks coming out like hot cakes right now. Pre-fire's coming through. Muzi's got to try and do his best. Can he win the angle? No, Secretly with the pre-fire. Very smart play by the man from Chaos.
I like the play from Secretly at the end there. He's like, I've had enough of this. Taking fate into my own hands.
You're done. You're done.
Thankfully, he had like 100 versus 10 HP duel, so even if he missed a couple of the opening shots, only needed one in order to close it out there. So good stuff from Chaos. They're keeping themselves in it. They're still in the hot seat, even though we go, I believe it's going to be a 6-5 scoreline now. Full regulation time. It's either going to be 7-5 in the favor of NIP, or we go to overtime yet again to decide who takes the map advantage in our final series of the day, our last quarterfinal of the bracket.
All right, well, NIP did just unlock CCTV room, so I'm going to assume that that will be the site of choice. Last time winning it, but they did lose it to Chaos just once. That was the first time that they went there, and then ended up winning it the next round. So 50-50 right now on CCTV for them. You see all those beautiful faces of Ninjas and Pyjamas. Trying to stay ice cold here in this very sweaty matchup.
Let's see if NIP can get it done. First little bump in the road for them, but like you said, they're back on a very comfortable site, one that they've been able to win quite comfortably throughout the course of this half so far. Chaos, in the meanwhile, has started to come closer and closer to winning on this site. So it's not on the cards that they can take this one either. It's, again, a lot of it falls into the early round. How much damage can they do against NIP? How much can they mess up the late round setup? And most importantly, how much can they preserve their own players? We've already seen one example of a round where they lose too much of the players needed for the execute, most notably the Capital, and aren't able to push back in. That was back in the last basement round we played into.
All right, well, Chaos going to try and find yet another round to push us to overtime. And I'm actually impressed with their plays so far that, you know, things have been working out as well as they have for them, because this offensive side, they really haven't looked, again, like the same Chaos that we've grown accustomed to, where you have these aggressive takes, some crazy buck plays, all sorts of things. None of that's really coming out right now by them. They're going for slow and steady, and it seems to be working in a sense, and I really think it's just Ninjas and Pyjamas falling to their own devices, really. Whether it be impatience or just a little bit of too hefty of rotating inside of sight, and Chaos is capitalizing on it, but they're going to have to try and do it again. Now, NIP is going to have a pretty good idea of exactly what Chaos wants to take control of. Muzi is the one that you need to stay alive for Ninjas and Pyjamas if you want them to take this map.
Final grenade going in there just for good luck. They do manage to breach open the primary sidewall leading into CCTV. A lot of passed rounds. Chaos haven't really had issues with timing. They're pretty good. They're pretty on track still for an execute by getting the wall open this early on in the round. Now it's about getting players in position and most notably trying to get a second angle to push this site with you. Unfortunately, can't just brute force your way into the wall. First of all, you have to stack a lot of your players in a single position, meaning that a defender running out could do a lot of damage. But aside from that, too, a lot of hard lock positions for the defenders further back on that site that'll be nigh impossible to deal with if you don't have a second angle either from garage or somewhere else to push this site. Renewal is nicely done, along with some damage coming in from a teammate, I believe, is going to allow them to fish out Muzi, taking down the Maestro, and of course removing those black eyes from the round 2.
Very efficient work there by Renewals. Is actually, he peeked once to see where he was, peeked again to ping exactly where he was, got the crossbow out, knew exactly where he needed to fire in order to make that land past the catwalk. So very smart use of your entire kit, all the way down to pings. I mean, very interesting stuff coming out here from Chaos as they seem to be dominating over the CCTV room once again, but last time it did not end up working out for them.
First attempt at smoking out. Vital is actually going to be caught crouching down as a result of that, so he's going to lose a little bit more damage than I think he was hoping. Thankfully, still able to get out of it relatively quickly. Problem is cash room still. They really had to find a way in order to get these players outside of it. They still have ADSs alive and active on the inside of it. I believe it's only one. There's no other method they have in order to force this out. Thankfully, Catcher still has, I believe his Thermite actually still has all 3 of his flashbangs. They are going to be able to burn it down quickly, but at a cost. A 1-for-1 trade brings us into another 3v3. You've got players that are lit on both sides, so Psycho makes a wraparound, takes out Secretly, pushing inside of CCTV. He's going to look for more. Again, working with that shotgun close-up right to the face of Crips. He takes him down, tries to go for the second. He'll go down, but it doesn't matter. NIP close it down and take map number 1 of the series. They're 1 away from the semifinal.
That shotgun of Kaid's is just so dang good, man. Especially up close, and they had that late flank that came out from the Jaeger. Actually hard rotated all the way over to main stairs, ended up coming in behind him through construction, and kind of a mid-game call there. Really, really late rotation, but ended up working out in the end. I think that they recognized out that Chaos was taking a very long time to finally get onto site, so why not try and throw a wrench into the mix?
Yeah. And of course, coming out of that map, we're going to be moving into our second pretty much immediately, folks, so don't go anywhere. We are going to be trying to jump into it as quickly as we can. We'll just give the players a few moments to breathe and get ready, and then it's right into map number 2, which is going to be Coastline. A pretty huge divergence from what we had seen on Clubhouse. Clubhouse has a lot of closed off angles, a lot of choke points to play off, with a whole lot of hard breach potential to come in. Coastline is essentially the exact opposite. A lot of open areas, a lot of potential for runarounds, and a complete lack of any need for hard breaching for the most part.
Yeah, well, we will have your highlights up in just a second, but the highlight for me was Chaos banning Ash, really. It really didn't seem to have an effect on NIP at all on offense. I mean, they got 3 on that side, and they ended up claiming 4 on defense, and really, if I were to ban anything, take away like Zofia or something along those lines, something that they use a lot of. They use a lot of Zofia's utility to open up quite a few angles, or even try and take away a hard destruction that isn't map. I mean,